Hey, welcome. This is not a flashback. You're not caught in some time machine. I know that opening is an old opening that we had. Dave's not on it yet. He will be. But Live from the Cheap Seats is back, folks. It is back. We are good to go. There's going to be all kinds of some old memories coming back and some things that we used to do that we're going to do again. And we are going to have a good time around here. It's a lot of fun. I am one of your hosts. My name is Rick Hughes. My co-host is the dazzling David Whitescarver. How you doing?
Duke of Daz is present and accounted for.
Duke of Daz. That may stick.
There you go.
So we are ready to go. We are ready to talk to you guys. We've got all kinds of goodies. We are going to talk about the NFL
Next
draft. The NFL draft. The Bucs, what we think is going. I'll give a little bit about what I'm thinking. Dave will give a little bit about what he's thinking. We will have some special guests, including Matt Colson, Matt from OKC, who hopefully can hang around here with no tornadoes tonight. And then we will also have Evan Winter from A to Z Sports will be stopping by. Evan, you guys might remember, used to be a Bucs report, has gone on and is doing some amazing things. He will be by at about 9 o'clock. And we've got all kinds of goodies. But the way we are going to start this out, you guys get ready for flashbacks galore. Dave, what'd you have for dinner?
I had a dash of manicotti and chicken parm, and then some broccoli florets. It was delicious.
Nice. Very nice. That's excellent. If you guys join us, just know that's part of the price of admission. You got to tell us what you had for dinner. We've got all kinds of stuff, guys. All kinds of goodies. And we're going to kick this thing off just to sort of remind you a little bit about what might be coming over the weeks ahead and everything. Y'all remember this?
Stupid Bucs fans say.
Okay, I'm actually not going to deal with Bucs fans. I'm going to deal with a former Buccaneer who said some seriously stupid stuff this week. Chris Sims, I don't even know how you can call yourself a professional, given the fact that you actually, with a straight face, said that the Dolphins were planning on trading for Tom Brady by giving up a second-round pick, and they were going to give the New Orleans Saints a first-round pick so that Sean Payton could become their head coach. Now, there's a couple of things I want to point out. First of all, Sean Payton's going to get a higher draft pick than Tom Brady. And the next thing I want to point out is, that Miami Dolphins second-round pick that they were going to trade, I don't believe they even have one. You could have looked that up before you open your mouth. So I don't know. Sometimes I look at people who are in these positions, the lofty positions, the experts, right? Chris Sims. I mean, dude, you played in Tampa. You have no sources in Tampa? I mean, you obviously don't have them in Miami because I bet you the people in Miami know what picks they have. But come on, man. Really? That's the best you got? That's the best you've got? Dave, I don't even know what to say. This guy, I think it was more than his spleen that ruptured. I think he ruptured maybe his frontal cortex. I don't know.
Well, if you're going to go big, I guess you try and go big. But, I mean, that alleged story had more holes in it than, a dinghy going down. I mean,
I was getting a little scared about where you were going to say. Had more holes in it than, I'm like, oh boy, where are we going? Anyway, yeah, guys, I don't even know how you deal with somebody saying something that
I mean, make it a little bit believable. You didn't even put any effort into it. I mean,
Right.
Oh, yeah, Sean Payton first round, for Brady a second round, and yeah. Oh, we don't have a second round. We'll do it anyway. We'll get one.
Right. And another little flashback. The thing is, if you're going to go out there publicly and make a statement and take a stand that you've got this all figured out, it was going to be a second round pick for Brady and a first round pick for Sean Payton. The thing is, you obviously either spoke to ignorant people and used them as a source, or you made this entire thing up. Those are the only two possible options. You spoke with someone ignorant and believed them and ran with it, or you made it all up. There's not any other options. So the thing is, you've exposed yourself by doing whatever this is, whatever you want to call this. I don't even have words for it. I mean, it's monumentally and epically stupid. I mean,
it's Imagineering. He's imagining things.
He's something. He is doing something. I don't even know the right words for it. So yeah, when it comes to stupid things that Bucs fans say, well, how about just stupid things former Bucs say? And really, you don't have any better sources in Tampa? Anyway. All right, so on to the draft. Let's talk about the draft. Now, guys, I'm gonna make this simple. I'm gonna talk to you about who I want the Bucs to get, but I'm not gonna talk to you about who I think they're going to get, because these may be two entirely different things. Now, look, first of all, they have Aaron Stinney on the offensive line to replace Ali Marpet, and Aaron Stinney started in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. Aaron Stinney is solid. I can't remember the name of the guy they just drafted, who's a center and can also play guard and I believe tackle. I mean, he's a very versatile player. They love the guy. I can't think of his name right now. My mind's going blank because I'm old. But I personally, who do I want them to get? I want them to get any Georgia defensive lineman. That's who I want them to get. No, I don't necessarily think that's what's going to happen. Dave can actually recall. Dave and I go back so far. Dave can. We've got draft stories. We got tales going back years. The
Josh Freeman draft just stands out because I remember. I think I picked Rick up. We were going to a friend's house whose dad actually used to play for the Broncos. And the only thing I heard from the time of picking Rick up to going to DJ's house was, I just don't want them to draft Josh Freeman. Anybody but Josh Freeman. Just please don't draft Josh Freeman. And then just keep playing the tape over and over again until we got there was basically the one-sided conversation. And lo and behold, guess who the Bucs picked? Josh Freeman.
So
you were right about him, but nevertheless,
we're probably not getting a Georgia defensive lineman because that's who I want. And rarely does what I want come to pass. So who knows? Look, let's add somebody to this discussion here for a few minutes. Let's add Mr. Matt from Oklahoma City, our storm chaser, I don't even know
Mr.
the right
Twister.
words. Tornado
right.
Man.
I'm having flashbacks over here.
Yeah.
This is what the cat did just before the sirens went off.
Yeah.
So we got the king they call Sir Duke over here from Mr. White Scarver. That's going to be what we're calling you. Because I can do now, since you called yourself the Duke or whatever.
The Duke of Daz.
Wondered in my head with that damn brass line. Anyway, I saw a 9-year-old
He's got
play
his
that
own
on
theme
Facebook
song now.
at the guitar store the other day. Pissed me off. So what's going on, man?
What'd you have for dinner?
Okay, you're really gonna hate me for this. I did the cheap route. I went to the grocery store. I got a can of roast beef hash, little roast beef hash. Threw it in a brand new, no sticks, granite skin skillet.
What I would even get that on.
Man, that's
I don't think I've ever bought it.
That's not terrible. That's not terrible.
It's man food.
Wasn't it you who came on one time and said Pop-Tarts or something like that?
Yeah, I was the Pop-Tart king, but they've changed my medication. I can't take that shit anymore.
You're banned from Pop-Tarts for life.
Yep. They said I can't do it. So
Paula Poundstone said it perfectly. Paula Poundstone said they package them perfectly. You know how you have 2 Pop-Tarts in the little envelope, the little pouch?
Right.
You open it up because you're going to eat you eat 1 Pop-Tart. Well, you can't just eat 1 Pop-Tart because then the other one's going to go bad sitting there, right? So you eat the second Pop-Tart. Well, now you're kind of committed to a meal, right? 2 Pop-Tarts is enough. So you go ahead and have a third one. Well, now you've had your third Pop-Tart and there's still one hanging out there. So you eat the fourth one. Well, there's only 2 left. You can't, that's not enough for anything. So you got to finish them off. So
the Pop-Tart, the Pop-Tart thing that I was good for when I was a young man back in the day, before things were legal that are legal now, we used to take that illegal stuff, and with about a half hour into it, we'd go get us a box of strawberry Pop-Tarts and some home vanilla ice cream from the local Dairy Queen kind of thing.
Good.
You take the heated Pop-Tart in the microwave, you put a slob of vanilla ice cream on it, you top it off with the other heated Pop-Tart, and you eat that before the ice cream melts and start
that
over.
Sounds good, Matt. That actually really does.
They're damn good. But
how have I never tried that? That is like the tip of the day. That's the thing. See, that's why we bring this segment back. Although Matt is the one who told us to rub peanut butter on salmon or something.
Mayonnaise, grouper.
Yeah.
Cook seasoning. Bacon in the oven, 3 and 3.
Yeah,
you are living.
I don't know what he's thinking there, but
I used to like grouper until you just said that.
Yeah, I can go with
the story. It was before your time there, Mr. Duke, but it was a classic tale from way back in the day, and it lasted for over a year, and I still
still going, Matt. It's still going. But yeah, I mean, I got to give you credit. Strawberry Pop-Tarts with vanilla ice cream. Wow.
Slammed right in the middle, straight out of the microwave.
That's
30
a
seconds.
win. That is a win.
Yeah. And if you get tired of strawberry, go with the frosted chocolate. It's good too. You can do that.
That's nice. That works.
Yeah. Strawberry.
Paula Poundstone, wasn't that chick that used to lay all over her furniture and stuff while she's talking? Wasn't she kind of like...
No, she was a comedian.
Yeah, but she would like do all kinds of weird things that... No, that must not be the same girl.
Not that I remember, but
I'll have to look that up.
I'm old,
I'll send you a link one day. There was some girl from the 80s that I thought that was who she was. That
she might have
jokes, and then she'd start holding her microphone all funny and leaning on her chair and playing with her stool and whatever. But
I don't remember that, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
It did happen. I just don't. The time frame may be off because my brain is schismed. However. But it's good to see the stupid things that Buck players, former Buck players say.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
What an idiot. What an idiot.
In a second round pick we don't have, but we're going to get it.
Yeah.
As soon as we trade for Baker Mayfield. That's how it's all going to work out. That's where they were going with the whole thing.
That's how it's all going to work out?
Sure. Yeah. They're going to work a 4-way deal, kind of like the NBA. They're going to get Baker Mayfield's going to go to Miami via Carolina through Tampa. In exchange for Brady and Sean Payton going to Miami, and the ownership of Miami is going to go to Cleveland and buy out the Browns. That's how I read it. I don't know if it's true or not.
So because they want Deshaun Watson. So
they want Deshaun Watson the worst way. And they're willing to trade. They're willing to trade that guy from Baltimore for it.
If you can't get the quarterback you want, switch franchises with the team that did.
Just buy the other team.
Matt,
that's all you got to do.
Matt.
Yes.
You're on the clock, buddy. Who are the Bucs going to take?
You know what? There was an article on Bucs Report last week. This is all serious. And they put down 12 names of potential people. And then they broke down why we need them and don't get them.
Great
and
article.
It worked out to somebody from Georgia. at the end.
Yeah, if that happens, yeah, I can't even begin to tell you how happy I am. Dave.
Yes,
Dave?
sir.
You're on the clock, buddy. Who are they going to take?
Travis Jones, defensive tackle, Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Okay.
That's a basketball school. There was an article today about.
Well, one guy there plays football. It's him.
Well, Alex Schomburg apparently in chat agrees with you.
He's up there.
And by the way, hey, Christopher Cole, how you doing, my friend? Hey, you guys, what'd you have for dinner? You can put it in chat, you know. But Christopher says Georgia defensive linemen are overrated. I don't agree with that. Hold on, we got a call coming in.
Oh my!
All right, Todd from Winter Park. How you doing, buddy?
How you guys doing?
What's up, Todd?
Good.
Welcome. What? So
Oklahoma City. What's going on, brother?
How you doing, man? We're still here. Minus 2 3.
so Todd, who are they picking?
Shingles, but you know.
I'm gonna a surprise pick here.
Okay.
I think it's going to be the kid Bucs, the wide receiver.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wide receiver.
Okay.
We got a few of those.
Yeah. I mean, but you don't know when Chris Godwin's coming back. We're not sure when he's going to be ready. So, you know, if he's not ready at the start of camp, or if Mike Evans, or when Mike Evans' hamstrings act up, you're going to need somebody there.
Day's not over.
I know we need O-line. I know we need D-line. We don't know if Sue and Gronk's coming back, so it's possible we might need a tight end.
Yeah, Gronk's coming back.
Completely sure about that?
I'm still not even remotely worried about that, and I still think he's going to announce it Thursday night at his party.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that, so
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
About the
Who you drafting?
Well,
Who we're drafting,
I
who
just
we're
said I'll
recruiting?
take any Georgia defensive lineman. That's my dream. Now, do I think we're going to get one? Probably not. But that is call it a pipe dream. That's who I want to get.
There's one in the USFL right now. There might as well be one in Tampa.
Well, I mean, the thing, guys, the thing is this: we have, we just got what's his name from Atlanta. I am horrible with names tonight. The wide receiver.
Yeah.
Russell Gage, and he's very versatile as far as the position, whether he's whether he's in the slot, whether he's the 3, he's very flexible, so that's going to help. He can fill the slot if Chris Godwin's not ready right at the beginning of the year, and then drop and become the number 3. But I when Godwin's back, but I mean, could I see them drafting a receiver? Maybe. Here's the thing: they're not going to draft a project. All right. Last year they drafted a project when they drafted JTS, Joe Tryon-Sranka. When they drafted him, it was a bit of a project to go behind
JPP.
Yeah, JPP. Holy cow, man.
You need coffee, man.
Take your multivitamin today.
I swear to you guys, and you're going to laugh at this, but when I got COVID at the beginning of the year, since then, verbal recall. I have a hard time remembering words and remembering names and things like that.
That's the excuse that John Gruden used too. It didn't work.
Yeah. Well, I do. I'm not a smart man, so you got all that. So, but I mean, I believe that whoever they draft is somebody that they are expecting to make an impact this year.
Is it possible that they could drop back, get more picks,
Absolutely.
or try to move up and get an earlier pick, like?
Yeah,
maybe the Giants or
Todd.
Or
this is why we're friends. This is why we're friends. I really
you're gonna do it for a
Todd,
specific
because
person.
you and I are thinking this. I would rather move up and get one of those Georgia guys, or move back and just stockpile picks.
Yeah, I mean anybody from Alabama or Georgia, you're getting a player.
I want the Georgia D lineman. I really want the Georgia D lineman.
Well, I mean, if the Bucs go with the receiver, I don't think Treylon Burks is going to last. I see the Saints taking him with the Eagles pick at 19. If the Bucs take a wide receiver, you're looking more at a Jahan Dotson from Penn State at 27. That would be my opinion if they go wide receiver. And I really don't think they will. But if they did do that, because what they want there on the line's not there, then I could see him going for Dotson.
Well, the problem is this draft has about 20 really good players. And then you're basically starting second round talent. Now, before anybody freaks over that and thinks that's terrible, first round talent, only 50% of them work out. So at best, 50%.
At best.
So
Josh Allen.
Yeah, second, third round, fourth round. Look at Tom Brady. But I mean, look, I think you can trade back. If you're not going to get one of the Georgia guys, I think you can trade back and get some, semi-reasonable value for your pick. But or trade forward. Now Jason Light's not afraid to move in the draft. He's done it many, many, many times, both up and back. I think we don't know what to expect, but I can tell you, I trust what the guy does. Whatever the decision is, if they're looking at the draft and they realize, look, one of our guys that we really want is not going to be there, I think he'll trade down. So, we
don't have a lot of need other than filling in gaps, because we replaced the people that retired and are not here.
Yeah.
Either with a free agent 2 days later, or we have talent that needs to step up.
Defensive tackle we need.
A lot of it hinges on whether Sue resigns or not.
Correct.
I mean,
Correct.
It's a sense of urgency if he doesn't resign. Now, allegedly, Tom Brady reworking his deal frees up enough cap space to bring on Gronk and Sue, you would think, but that's with both parties wanting to do so.
Right. And Sue has not committed to anything. He signs late anyway, and I think the Bucs may be basically saying, let's wait and see who we draft. I think that may be what the weight is on Sue. Is they may be.
So if they draft a defensive tackle, and then Sue's not going to be in the cards.
It depends on the defensive tackle. If they get one of those Georgia boys, I think that's somebody who could start right off the bat. I would I love to have it. Look, guys, the lean years are coming. Okay, everybody, just get ready. We're gonna you can't be good every year. New England is an aberration. Okay, you're not going to be good every year. You can stay relatively good, like Pittsburgh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
On a positive note, our division really sucks. So that gives us a little bit of flexibility over the next couple of years, but we're going to take a step back. I don't think Tom Brady's playing with the Buccaneers after this year.
He's going to Miami.
If he's going anywhere.
No, he's going to San Francisco. Where he's from. Come on.
It just has Chris Sims. But I mean,
get him on the phone.
Yeah. But I mean, guys, we'll see what happens. I believe. Yeah. By the way, Christopher Cole says the reports are that the Jaguars are selecting an edge rusher from Georgia, T. Walker. I do not believe that the Bucs.
I believe the Jaguars will do something stupid. Guys. I believe that.
What's that?
I believe the Jaguars will do something stupid. I fully believe that.
Well, they're not very smart.
No, they're not. Todd, what'd you have for dinner?
I mean, they need to get, really what they need is offensive line help to protect Lawrence.
Yeah, they do. By the way, Todd, what'd you have for dinner?
I had salmon, sweet peas, and fried potatoes.
Oh, nice.
My God,
beautiful.
We have a winner.
Yeah, we have a winner. I think that we have a winner. I had some chicken with green beans in and cherry tomatoes in a basil pesto sauce that I.
Nice. Well, I had a can of Del Monte diced tomatoes with basil, oregano, and garlic. Put them in with the fish, and the diced tomatoes made the fish. I mean, it was awesome.
Nice. Very
when are we coming over, Todd, for dinner?
Yeah, no joke.
For real. How do you make your salmon? I gotta ask.
You guys are welcome over anytime you want. You don't have to have an invitation.
Yeah. So, yeah, so we're all, I guess, sort of on the same page on all of this. But here's the deal. I have a guest in the lobby right now that I'm going to bring in, if that's okay, guys. I'm going to, Todd, I got to end the call. Just, we have a guest coming on. And
yes, sir.
Matt and Dave, Matt, I'm going to put you in the lobby. Dave, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Todd, thank you for calling, brother.
Thank you, Todd.
Yes, sir. I think the middle rounds are going to be just as interesting as the first round.
I think they may be more so.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
see. Yep.
You guys have a great night. Thank you.
See you.
See you, Todd.
All right, Matt, I'm going to drop you in the lobby for the moment. And let's bring in from A to Z Sports, formerly Bucs Report. We all recognize that face. Mr. Evan Winter, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, Rick? I'm doing good, man. I hope you're doing well.
I am doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for making the play smarter and coming by. You are. We need you here more.
You elevate the show. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Those are kind words. I appreciate it.
So talk to us. Talk to us about what you see lying ahead for the Bucs. And but before you do that, I want to know what'd you have for dinner.
Pizza, man. Kept it simple tonight. So
nice.
Yeah.
What was on it?
Just pepperoni. We're trying to get the little one. We're trying to expand his palate, and he likes pizza, but it cannot be anything else more than pepperoni right now. So
Okay.
we gotta stick with the classic.
Yeah.
How old
Yeah,
is
but no. In regard to the Bucs, they've got this thing coming up in a couple days. This thing called the draft. It's kind of a big deal. And they're really in a spot where they can do just about almost anything they want.
Yeah.
They have needs, obviously, like, defensive line. You need depth on the offensive line. Could even add a cornerback, so on and so forth. But in regards to how the board falls to them, they don't have to force anything. There's definitely something that they can do at each and every pick. And it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. That's for sure.
Well, Evan, I'm interested in. I would either want to trade up and get one of the Georgia D linemen if possible, or drop back and just try to get some picks for next year.
It feels weird not having a 5th and 6th round pick. It feels like Jason Light, he would want something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, a trade back would make absolute sense, and trading up would too as well, because at the end of the day, if they're targeting a guy like Devontae Wyatt, odds are he's not going to be there. And obviously, I think that's everybody's ideal pick at 27, because it's not only a plan for the present, but it's also a plan for the future in replacing Ndamukong Suh and all that good stuff. And it gives the Bucs exactly what Bruce Arians said they needed back at the combine, which was, interior pass rush.
Right.
So, but if he's not there, obviously trade back, to 35 or something, get you, an extra third, maybe if you're lucky, an extra third, and like a 6th to something, who knows, maybe they could trade away one of their 7ths in the deal. All kinds of options though. So it's really anybody's guess as to what they're really going to do.
Yeah. Agreed. Dave, you have anything?
I was going to throw out a name, Jordan Davis, because I've seen him top 10, late first round, everywhere in between from various pundits. Where do you see him going?
Yeah, I read earlier today, I think it was ESPN. Yeah, it was Todd McShay's his like NFL draft news, the tidbits he's been hearing and stuff. And the general consensus is that it would be a surprise if he lasts to Baltimore at 14. So yeah, he's gonna go.
I've seen him there at 14 for Baltimore, so I was curious.
Yeah, he's gonna be off the board definitely by 27. But honestly, I think that's a good thing, because I don't think he's exactly what the Buccaneers are looking for. Greg Cosell a couple days ago on one of the radio shows he does actually said that Jordan Davis reminds him of Vita Vea, but Vita Vea is twitchier and has better feet. So that makes me think Vea is more refined as a pass rusher, which if you go back and look at Davis's tape, he's strong, he's powerful, or sorry, he's not powerful, he's strong, and he's quick, he's agile, but he doesn't have that power that you want on the defensive line when it comes to rushing the quarterback. And you also look at his snap counts, very, very low snap counts. He didn't even play over 1,000 snaps for his entire career. So to me, I feel like Jordan Davis would be a forced pick. I mean, Bruce Arians, and I know he's not the coach anymore, but going back to what he said, at the combine, he said, we don't need another Vita Vea. So I would like to see him get off the board early. That way, A, Bucs fans don't go crazy, and also though, B, it doesn't put the Bucs in a position to where they might not need to be in.
What could be a surprise that you see coming down the pipe here for this draft?
For the Bucs specifically?
Just in general, it's kind of a black box of a draft for me in some regards. I'm just wondering what could happen, what could surprise us, what's in the wind.
I think a quarterback's going to go top 10. And naturally, if you zoom out and look at the big picture of the NFL, it's a quarterback-driven league.
Yeah.
Teams trip over their own feet trying to find these guys, and all for the better. I mean, we saw what Tom Brady did in Tampa Bay. If you have that guy at the position, you're a contender for years to come. But obviously, this year's draft class is not very good when it comes to quarterbacks. I mean, you've got some decent players, but in terms of sorry, my phone just fell out of my pocket. But in terms of that guy that can lead your franchise for 10, 15 years, it doesn't look like that's in here. But I still think a quarterback's going to go high and in the top 10. Honestly, I think they'll go in the top 7. I think Carolina Panthers are going to take one at 6, even though they shouldn't. They need a left tackle more than anything. But I think they're going to take a quarterback at 6, and then I think a running back is going to go in the first round as well.
That was going to be my surprise.
I think. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your toes, but Breece Hall, people love him, what he can do. Yeah. And I think maybe like a Lions, one of those teams in the back end, or maybe somebody in the second will trade up and get him.
Well, Evan, what I think you were talking about quarterbacks. Somebody is going to like both of those quarterbacks that everybody's talking about. Somebody's going to like them, and somebody is going to say he's probably not going to be around next round. Somebody's going to pull the trigger. I think on both of them.
Yeah, and I kind of liken it to drafting in fantasy football. Like, let's say you've got it's a 12-man draft or a 12-man league, or 12-team rather league, I should say, in 2022. And then let's say you've got the 7th pick, overall. If you really, really like, let's just say Devontae Adams, he's not going to be there when you pick again at 14. Right. So if you really like the player, if you think they're a fit, if you think they can come in and immediately help, then you go ahead and draft them. I mean, this isn't fantasy football kind of going against my opinion, but it's also not Madden to where you can just make a trade, get back. I mean, it just doesn't happen like that. There's a lot of other elements, a lot of other machinations that go into it. So yeah, I mean, somebody's going to take a player early.
He said machinations. That's why I said he's bringing the smart things.
I'm going to have to look that word up when we're done here. Do you see Seattle at 40 in the second round taking a swing at Matt Corral?
Oh, definitely. I could definitely see that. And I remember there's his name's Rob Statton. He writes for Seahawks Draft Blog, does really good work. He actually had on his Twitter timeline back during the combine, Pete Carroll, and I think the general manager sitting down in the Indianapolis stands talking to Matt Corral. So there's definitely interest there. So, I could see that happening all day long.
All right.
If you think back, I mean, Matt Corral was supposed to be the it quarterback in this draft. I mean, you have to go back a ways, but at one point he was.
Yeah, for sure. And I like his tools for the most part. I think he's a little undersized. But you can always, put on weight and add muscle and all that stuff. But the one thing is the system he played in, while Lane Kiffin is a great head coach and has a great offense, you got to wonder, with the hurry up and all that stuff, how much it can really translate and how much can he read defenses and how much is that going to be tested, or how well is he going to read defenses and how much is that going to be tested? Because, when you do run the hurry up, it keeps defenses honest and it keeps them static. They're not running a bunch of disguises because they have to line up quickly and just figure it out and then go. So a lot of times they're running just vanilla coverages. So it'll be interesting to see how that translates out. But yeah, I mean, I like his skill set. Just add a little bit of weight and let's rock. Let's see what he can do. You're still on mute, Rick.
You muted yourself, Rick. Can't hear you.
Sorry about that. My thinking is when you have teams that have multiple picks in the first round, and I think there's 8 of them.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
Somebody's going to drop down a little bit, and with one of their picks is going to drop lower, and that's why I think that there's going to be, the quarterbacks are going to go earlier than we think. If somebody's going to have the luxury, for lack of a better way to put it, of risking that.
Yeah, and as Adam Schefter said a couple days ago, it might even have been yesterday, just everything's just a blur over this last week leading up to the draft. But when I first read the tweet, it didn't make a whole lot of sense on the surface, but then obviously I started thinking about the nuance and it made sense. But he said there's not a lot of teams looking to trade up. There are more teams looking to trade back.
Right.
And at first I was like, well, if nobody's wanting to trade up, how are you going to trade back? But obviously. But either way, so yeah, I mean, somebody's definitely going to make a move. I mean,
you can get good value trading up in this draft
for sure.
Instead of giving up as much. I'm going to bring Matt in here in case Matt has any questions here for you. Matt from the Buck Wild Show. But
hey, Matt. We can't use words like macanasia or whatever it was you were talking there. They spell it right at the Mississippi River. They don't come this far west. They just
isn't that a drug like Spiriva or something?
Some kind of
macanasia
put on ice cream. Macadamia.
Macadamias. That's a nut.
It's the Walmart brand. It's the Walmart brand of Rage Against the Machine. It's the copycat.
There you go. There you go. Oh man. So. I mean, when I'm looking at the draft, most years I know the players. All right, I know who's coming. I know the bigger names. I know what's happening. Am I the only one who, after the first few picks, I mean, I haven't studied this year like I have in years past or anything like that, but there are a lot of names I don't know that people are talking about.
This draft is weak.
Is it weak or is it just it's smaller schools or what's going on with it, Evan?
It's just that time is a cycle where they just don't have much to work with unless you're needing a specific, not quarterback type.
Yeah.
I think too. I think too, just the lack of star power in terms of quarterbacks. A lot of people are that's your headline. That's your golden ticket right there.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to the draft. And this draft is really solid at receiver. So you've got obviously some big names there that really move the needle. But then, you've got lesser famous positions or less glamorous positions like offensive line, even corner, safety. You've got a lot of great players there, and it's a deep draft at those positions. However, outside of receiver, the other guys don't really move the needle. Nobody gives a damn about running backs anymore.
Break the door down for a cornerback.
Right. Which you should in this day and age, especially if you got some good ones in there. But, they're even saying yesterday, I think it was on Good Morning Football, though, how who was the corner that was taken last year, the top guy? I can't think of him right off the top of my head. Sorry for the slip up. But
you want me to remember a name? You're talking to the wrong guy.
Yeah, no, I'm completely blank. But they were saying that he was better than Sauce Gardner this year. So, if he would have been in the draft, he would have been ahead of Sauce Gardner. So, there's just, even though there's a lot of good players, there's a lot of depth at certain positions. There's just not really that guy. So, and it's weird because it's in Vegas. You figure it would be, huge and all this other stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I've done my fair share of studying, obviously, the last few weeks, and there are a lot of names that do stand out. But yeah, whenever I was diving into it, there were a lot of guys where I'm just like, man, I need to check him out. I need to check him out.
Yeah.
Can't really recall him, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Evan, am I crazy by thinking Gronk's going to announce that he's coming back at his draft party in Vegas?
That would be badass, man.
Yeah, that's what I think. To me, it just makes sense. It's like, oh yeah, it's a marketing.
I'm coming back, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can see him. You know how they go to somebody to announce a pick?
Yeah.
I could see them throwing the camera over to Gronk.
Yeah, that would be great, man. Tutties, and it's start a Tutties chant.
Yeah,
and with him and Sue, it makes total sense for them to take their time. They know the Bucs want them. They know they want to play for the Bucs. They both were hurt last year,
Yep.
You know, Gronk had the punctured lung and the cracked ribs. Sue with I think it was the MCL, and then he's got the twins he just had last year, so he's spending time with them. Yeah, take their time, all that good stuff. But when it comes to Gronk, I do wonder. You know that I do honestly. Now you've got me excited. I really hope that happens. And it is. I could see it happen.
That feels right to me. That
it
just,
does. No,
everything about totally that feels right to me.
It was like they do like the corny like real quick pan over and then zoom in and like I'm back, baby, or whatever the name was. But with him though, man, I really do think he's taking his time in regard to his health because he said the main reason why he retired after 2018 was because he felt like he rushed his body back too quickly from the injuries. Obviously, injuries took a toll themselves, but he felt like he rushed it back. And then what happened this season? He rushed back from injury, tried to play during the same
punctured lung thing.
Yeah, I mean, my God.
I mean, if you got chronic pain issues and now you have a punctured lung, it's in the back of my mind. I could see him telling, "Hey, Tommy, knock yourself out, but I'm done."
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't be completely shocked at all. I mean,
no,
I do think he'll come back, but I would not at all be shocked if he said, "Peace, I'm done."
I just can't. I can't help but think Brady's on the phone saying one more,
just one more, man, one more.
Yeah,
but
one more time.
He retired with Brady as his quarterback before. And they were in a good situation. And he said, "No, I can't do this."
It was with Belichick, and he had come off back surgery. And he was in a whole different place than he is now.
That is true.
He had elbow and shoulder problems. I mean, he was running out there like he was King Arthur. He had armor on like Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I think it's going to be a little bit longer with him. I think, you know, he might overall, I do think it might be to like June. It wouldn't surprise me if he waits that long this time.
I'm telling you, it's Thursday. I'm telling you,
I hope it is.
Thursday night.
I'm hoping, man. I'm telling you, coming from like me, you know, covering the team and needing stuff to write about, that would be just gold for me to be able to write about that. It'd be fun and everything. So I'm pulling for it.
Well, there's there. You heard it here first. That's my.
I'll be sure to credit. I'll be sure to hat tip you on at the.
I don't expect that. Sure. I'm just.
Well, I wanted to ask you a creativity question, Evan. I saw your article about the top 5 things. Moments that Brady had with the Bucs, and you wrote it timely. It was in the window when he had retired and had not unretired yet. And my question is, how do you approach, I want to write this article and I want to include this? What is some of the creative process that you go through, or do you have topics and you whittle them down? What's your process?
So really, it just comes to me as the event unfolds or the game unfolds or just sitting around, or if I'm even writing something else, the idea just pops in my head. And these days, as I'm getting older, I have to write them down now. I can't just rely on my memory.
Write that down, Rick.
Yeah, exactly. Or I pull out my phone and I open up the voice memo and I give myself a voice memo, or I text myself. You know, I have to document it these days, or most likely it's going to fall to the wayside. Yeah. But then once I actually get going into it, it's a lot of research. A lot of it's just knowledge I already have, but a lot of it's research, double checking, fact checking, and then watching videos or interviews from past events, like talking about Gronk, for instance. If I was writing about, you know, the injury he suffered against the Rams this past season, I might go back to like 2015, 2016 when he hurt his back or something, and see what maybe he said back then that I could tie into now. It's just a lot of stuff. I don't really necessarily have a process. It's all kind of random and chaotic at the end of the day, and I somehow make it work.
You do well.
I appreciate that. Well, but for the most part, yeah. You know, it's just thinking, a lot of thinking, and fortunately, my brain works that way, and it worked good. So,
how many of those steps do you think Chris Sims has given up on?
Well, he works for Mike Florio, so I'd imagine all of them. Man, that, you know, it's all about some bogus crap, man. This whole thing has driven me nuts, and like it's permeated even up here in Nashville. Like there's a local radio station that does it. It's a really good station. I like the guys. They do good work. But I even had to call in and not necessarily set them straight. I wasn't like, hey, you guys, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I explained they bought into the Brady forcing Bruce Arians out. And these are smart guys. These aren't just guys talking to fill the airwaves or try to get ratings. They're smart guys. They're intelligent guys. And I'm just like, and I called in, and when I talked to him, I said, you know, Mike Florio has it pretty much built into everybody's subconscious that there is some kind of rift here because he will not leave the damn thing alone.
Well, let me ask you something though, Evan. And this is something, and after this, I will let you go because I don't want to keep you too long. I want you to come back. But the question, this is how, and I've talked about this on our show. I feel like there is something there that we don't know about. I don't think Brady called up the Bucs and said, get him out of here. I mean, the way I see it going down is they made a phone call the day before free agency started and said, "Hey, Tom, one more time, just checking in." And Tom said, "Listen, it's not that I don't want to come back. It's just there are some things about the offense or some things I want to do a little differently." And they maybe walked over to Bruce and said, Tom kind of wants to do some things a little bit differently. And Bruce said, "Why don't I just get out of the way and go?" I mean, I don't think that it has to be this all one way or the other where somebody forced somebody out or anything like that. But doesn't it? Come on. I mean, Brady unretires and then Arians retires.
And Todd Bowles didn't know he was getting hired. What Brady knew before Bowles did? I mean, weeks before. I mean,
things don't add up. I mean,
it's a bit odd.
Well, no, yeah, like I am not debating at all that the timing was weird. And as soon as the announcement was made, I was like, "Oh shit, here we go." I was like, because I knew that's what people were gonna, immediately jump to was the whole rift thing and all that other stuff. The timing was definitely weird, and it doesn't lend credence towards the situation, but it definitely kind of pushes it more to the forefront of the mind and all that stuff, and that's totally logical and cool. But what sells me completely against it is Bruce brought up at the combine that he was thinking about retiring and how that he felt like he would just be leaving everybody in a bad spot. He even said just a couple days ago that when he retired in 2018, the intent was for them to have a replacement in place, one of his guys, but that didn't happen. And then all of a sudden, all these guys got fired, coaches moved on, so on and so forth, which that is part of the business, obviously. It's a little bit almost too altruistic to sit there and want to save that many
That's
jobs.
what makes me say it's
well, yeah, but at the end of the day, though, whenever Brady did announce his return, that boom right there, Bruce is like, I can step down. I'm leaving my guys in a good spot. What better spot to be in? And plus, honestly, who knows if Todd Bowles was ever going to get another chance? I mean, look at Raheem Morris. He was put in a really bad spot. Mm-hmm. And even though Raheem made some of his own mistakes, I mean, every coach makes mistakes. It ended up leading to a really, really bad taste in everybody's mouth. And he's still out there on the short end of the stick when it comes to getting a job. Byron Leftwich, on the other hand, he still has that chance. He hasn't burnt his chance, for lack of a better phrase.
He told the Jags, "No, I don't want that job."
Shit, I would too after all that. I would be like, "What are y'all doing, man? I'm out." Like,
if you want me to coach, here's this, and this has to happen. They said, "No, we can't do it." And he goes, "Bye."
Okay. Yeah. All right, man. I'll go back and coach Tom Brady.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think that's why when I start putting everything together, I feel like it was just a simple, hey, Tom kind of wants to do this and this and this.
That makes sense. I mean, that
Arian's just going, yeah, that's cool. I get it. I'm not ready to put in the grind, and Tom's a grind kind of guy. He loves the grind. I'm not there anymore. Why don't we just let these guys take over and do it, and I'll help from this perspective.
Yeah, and I mean, and like on a scale of like if we're putting it in percentages, that could have easily been, like 5-10% of the reason why. And that's completely logical. And it could, and it's totally doable. But at the end of the day, though, I buy into what Arian said and how the whole thing played out and all that good. And we all knew when he was hired here in 2019 that this was going to be, 4 or 5 year plan at best. And then somebody else, we knew he wasn't going to be here long and that eventually somebody was going to take over. So it just happened to play out this way in one of the craziest ways possible.
Well, who knew Brady was going to be coming here at that point? But
God, definitely not me.
It just, for me, the optics of, him leaving right as soon as Brady came back, I don't think a company would just the corporate optics, I think
The timing was terrible. The timing was absolutely terrible.
And that's what makes me go.
Well, what amazed me, and we've touched on some of the made up stuff out there and people just throwing up trial balloons because they have nothing better else to do and can't come up with anything else to write. I didn't think there was any leakage, any speculation. Nobody that I remember at any place or anywhere said Arians is about to quit.
Well, yeah, and remember too, usually the local people that cover cover the Bucs, your Rick Strouds, Greg Almonds, Jenna Lanes, they usually don't break the news, but they confirm it. None of them ever confirmed anything remotely close to what was being reported by Florio or Rich Orenberger.
It's obvious Orenberger and Florio have it wrong. When Chris Sims opened up his mouth,
the whole Dolphins thing is almost more absurd to me than the San Francisco and the forcing Brady or Arians out. Like, you mean to sit here and tell me that they were going to make him part owner, player, and they were going to get him for a second round pick?
Which, by the way, they don't have one, I don't believe.
Oh, dude, just what the hell kind of world are y'all living in? Give me that peace pipe, please. My God, dude.
Well, he won the Twitter war. We'll still talk about it.
Exactly right. He got his clicks. Yeah, he got his clicks. He's being talked about. In this world, any pub is good pub. Totally. He won the battle, and he won the war. We won the battle. He won the war, but. Dude, at the end of the day, I mean, I like making an ass of myself out as much as anybody else, but to do it repeatedly over and over.
He would stand by it. He should have said,
making it a lifestyle.
I remember when he first came, when the whole San Francisco thing, he was like, I received an email. And I'm like, dude, you're really making a big fuss over this about an email? You're like, oh my God, please, man.
Evan, please. I told you I was going to get you out of here, and then I kept you here, and now watch.
Hey, man, it's all good.
I don't want to be on this show again.
It's all good.
Hey, tell us where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can find me at Twitter, or on Twitter, rather. Sorry, prepositions got a little screwed up there. Find me on Twitter at Evan_Winter, A2Z, and spell exactly how it sounds. You can find my work on A2ZSports.com. We currently cover 8 cities. It's Nashville, the Tennessee Titans, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Green Bay Packers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Cincinnati Bengals, Chicago Bears, Pittsburgh Steelers, and there's one more I'm leaving out right off the top of my head.
You did that off the top of your head.
Yeah, but either way, it's a great website. We've got it all covered from analysis to opinions to news, just it all. So be sure to check us out whenever y'all can.
You got it. Thank you, Evan. Appreciate it, brother.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you, Evan.
Yeah,
have a great night.
Talk soon.
Yep. All right. That was Evan Winter making us a smarter show.
Writing down machinations. Did I do that right?
So Matt, where does everybody find you, brother?
I love that. I got my prepositions all wrong.
Where does everybody find you?
Usually, if the wind's not blowing and the creek don't rise, I'm on Saturday night at 9:00 right here on the Buck Report at the Buck Wild Show with my sidekick, Miss Teresa Baxter. She gets to feeling better. She'll be back. And that's it. Every Saturday.
Maybe Saturday night I'll poke my head in there. Maybe we can even twist Dave's arm and get him to poke his head in there Saturday night, and we can.
You guys are welcome anytime you want to. I post draft inside of the office every time. So anytime you want to come on, I'll let you. And anytime you don't want me to bother you, just let me know, and that's cool too.
So much appreciated. Yeah. I do believe, by the way, guys. Oh man, let me see. I have this written down because again, I can't remember things so well. The Bucs report here is going to have some absolutely fantastic coverage of the draft. Mr. Johnny Dean, Alex Schomburg, Ben Cornett, and I believe Alex is going to be there. I think they're all going to be there
if they're
for the entire draft.
Are they going to
every hour, every pick of the draft? Oh, they are planning on being there. God bless them. What Good. Have at it, boys. And hopefully we'll we can all pop in there. Maybe Dave can do it. Maybe Matt can do it. We can all pop in and give an opinion or a thought or two at some point during one of the days of the draft. But then let's all try and hop in on Buck Wild on Saturday night. Matt, thank you for being here, my friend.
Yeah, Saturday we'll have coverage of what's been happening at the draft. And
right.
But yeah,
we can talk about the selection of Travis Jones, defensive tackle from Connecticut.
Nice.
Connecticut. There was an article today I read somewhere about the Jason Light and his history with the ACC. It's not pretty. So we don't need anybody from Connecticut. So I'm just going to leave it at that because we get lopsided kickers and blind quarterbacks, and now you're going to get all kinds of other problems. So
and Josh Freeman.
Yeah.
No, he was from Kansas State, wasn't he? Kansas State.
That was before. Wasn't that before Jason Light or no?
Yeah, that was Mark.
Yeah, it was before
Dominic.
Jason Light. It was well before Jason Light, I think.
Because that was Raheem Morris's Youngry Bucs.
Yeah,
remember
that was
that?
the younger days.
Yeah. So
all right, Matt. Thank you for being here.
I had fun. Nice seeing you, Dave.
Good
Sir
seeing
Duke.
you as always, Matt.
You've earned that. You're keeping it. Sir Duke. That's the guy right there. All right. You guys have a good night. I'm out of here.
How we going, Matt?
All right. Whoop.
He just won't go away.
All right. All right, brother. Well, welcome to the first night live from the cheap seats, huh?
Hey, being cheap is a way of life.
That's right. That is right. All right. It's been fun. We got the draft. A lot happening over the next few days. So we will definitely be back here next Tuesday. And thank you all for being here. Dave, got anything you want to add?
I'm looking forward to the draft just because, like I mentioned earlier, it's such a black box. Like it was discussed, there's not premier quarterbacks, franchise type, once in a lifetime generational type players, especially the quarterback position. So there's going to be a lot of surprises. And I think there's going to be a lot of times you hear leading up to the draft, this team's going to move down, this one's going to, and nothing usually happens, or it's very limited. I think you could see a lot of movement in this draft.
When's the last time we didn't know what was going to happen at the first pick? So this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. I appreciate all of you for being here. Every single one of you in the, making the comments, all of you, all you guys watching, listening, whether you're live, whether you come back and watch us later on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, anywhere. If you guys hang out and catch us at some point, always check out all the great articles on bucksreport.com. There's a treasure trove of information for Bucs fans. So if you're just here for the live shows, you are missing a lot of really good stuff at bucksreport.com. And again, Bucs Report is going to be live for every pick of the draft. Absolutely every pick. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. And have a great night. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Go Bucs.